one now?
Oh, no more boot. No more crutches. It feels sore. It feels like I'm,
The other day we had enough.
Yeah. But I biked to the meeting today. So
quarter of it.
Everybody's
here already.
we'll bike to
like,
here, and I'll
lovely.
bike home when we're done. So yeah. It's only doable because I have an electric bike. If I didn't have an electric bike, I'm not doing that. But
Yeah. Live out on 3A?
yeah.
There's no real hills.
Oh no, there's hills. I take Reservoir.
Oh,
Yeah,
a long way.
Yeah.
Shortcut.
So you're going over the speed bumps?
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, the hills on Reservoir I wouldn't do it unless I had an electric bike. So
No, it's painful to do
Yeah.
it.
Is it a type 1, like type 1 or type 2?
I gotta double check. I can't remember the difference.
Pedal assist only, or is there a throttle?
There's a throttle, so too. So, but it's nice.
Takes you all the way here,
Yeah,
back.
yeah. So
You'd be using it this winter?
no, no. I did
No
it
tires on it?
Snow day,
when I
right.
first got it. I think I used it like
tires for my mountain bike.
beginning of December when there wasn't a whole lot of snow on the ground, but it iced over and I crashed like 3 times on my way to work because I hit ice patches. So like, yep, not doing that again.
So you learn from this, okay,
Yes.
good.
So
I took my sippy cup off. Yeah.
Marianne, is there a rum raisin at the ice cream shop?
There is, much to my chagrin.
I'll have to go over and try it.
I say maybe I'll head over after the meeting to
Actually-
try
I
it.
get the shakes when I order it.
Last week, Ellie keyed me in at the reading of the
Oh, right.
Declaration of Independence.
Right.
I saw Ellie and she was like,
She's awesome.
just so you know, it's disgusting, but there is rum raisin.
Ooh, that's what I was going to give you guys to hand out. But all the little kids would get scared away.
Why are there bugs in my ice?
Either have rum raisin or broccoli ice cream.
The chocolate was it was really hard. It was
Well,
it
you
was
guys
cold.
got it
was really
from-
hard but it was good.
Right.
It was fun. Thank you for donating.
Yes, thank you for the donation.
And the ice cream sandwiches last week too were really good, or the week
I'm
before.
not talking to you.
Oh,
Sends me funny emails that aren't funny.
I said he doesn't like us. I was honest.
You mean us? Or
Us.
like us?
Us. He doesn't
Us
like
as
us.
a group?
I don't know. He
Just you,
like us.
Marianne.
Just you.
I get
I was
that,
gonna
Zach.
say
I
that.
get that.
You
I
were
get that a
in-
lot,
Yeah,
actually.
It was kind of awkward. We weren't going to say anything. All right, let's call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, I'll make a motion to approve the June 18th non-public meeting minutes.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm abstaining.
I'll make a motion to approve the June 22nd regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm abstaining again.
And I will make a motion to approve the June 22nd non-public meeting minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm abstaining, but I didn't actually need to abstain on the first one. I was just not paying that close of attention. Okay, announcements. The select board will meet on the following dates at 5 p.m. Tuesday, July 14th, and Thursday, July 16th. I'm sorry, actually.
are we meeting Tuesday?
Canceled. I'm reading straight off my notes. We had a meeting scheduled for tomorrow on July 14th. We had announced, but that is now canceled because the candidate for town manager has removed himself from the process and will not continue. So we will not be meeting tomorrow, July 14th. On Thursday, July 16th, though, we'll have a public forum at 5 p.m. and at Pease Public Library. It's a meet and greet for the candidate for the open position of town manager. And Town Hall itself will be closing at 3 p.m. So that employees can deal with some of the other meetings we're having with that candidate that day. The select board will be meeting on Monday, July 27th, and again on August 10th, and again on August 24th. Citizens wishing to be listed on the select board's agenda notify Town Hall the noon of the Thursday before the scheduled meeting. Meetings are held here in Town Hall as well as available via Zoom, and that Zoom information is available on the town's website. And I want to jump us forward to our public hearing, so the town of Plymouth is holding a public hearing, which I'm struggling to put my fingers on the public hearing notice. Here it is. Is this the right?
On your
No, that's
agenda,
5:15.
on your agenda, it's listed there.
Oh, it's just on the agenda? Okay. Held for the purpose of providing information on the proposed Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, housing application, grant application of $750,000 that the town is going to apply for. This public hearing is focusing on the adoption of both a housing and community development plan and residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for the town. Adoption of both plans are required steps for applying for the funding, and if funded, the grant will be administered by the town subrecipient Elm Grove Companies and used for renovations needed for Plymouth Apartments on Morgan Drive. Joseph, this says that it's going to be administered by Elm Grove. I actually thought LRPC was involved in the administering.
That's correct. LRPC would be the grant administrator, and
Okay.
the subrecipient is proposed to be Elm Grove.
Okay, so just a clarification, the grant will be administered by LRPC, but the town subrecipient will be Elm Grove Companies. So just that additional clarification. Yeah, trying to see if there's anything else that was key in here. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and any information regarding this application will be made available at Town Hall via the planning department. So if anybody, we have a second hearing on this as well.
This one is just the one here.
Yeah, it's
on
just-
this particular application.
Okay,
The application's due on July 7th, or 27th, so.
okay. All right, so with that, I guess I will technically open the public hearing. It's 5:05. And if there's no immediate comments from the board, I will take public comment on the grant application.
So we do have Elm Grove here today, just to go over some things, just to reiterate what their plan is. At the same time, we have a 3-year housing and development community plan. We have the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. The board is going to be asked to authorize someone to sign everything for the town. And then, at the end, the board will be asked to consider pursuing the grant applications. So I think.
So we'll have 2 policies.
2, 3 policies.
3 policies, okay.
Oh, you're right, 2 policies, I'm sorry, and then the authorization.
Okay.
But if they could come.
So
in-
yeah, if Elm Grove would like to introduce this project and talk a little bit about why this grant is important.
Thank you, Selectmen. For the record, my name is Matt Rose. I work for Lakes Region Planning Commission. I'm the environmental planner and I'm a grant writer. I would be the one that would be writing the grant application. To start, I just want to talk about what CDBG is. Each year, the state of New Hampshire is eligible to receive housing and community development block grant funding from HUD which is the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. New Hampshire CDFA administers the HUD block grants. CDBG program is the Community Development Block Grant and is designed to provide assistance for improving economic opportunities and community revitalization needs for low to moderate income persons. Eligible recipients include towns, cities, and counties of the state of New Hampshire. CDBG funding categories include housing, public facilities, economic development, housing, public facilities, and economic development emergency needs, and housing, public facilities, economic development, and transformative planning. To continue, the Town of Plymouth responsibilities associated with the grant application. The roles of the project partners include the Town of Plymouth, who would be the grant applicant, Elm Grove would be the subrecipient, and Lakes Region Planning Commission would assist with grant writing, so we would provide grant writing support. And then if the grant is accepted and the award is given, then Lakes Region Planning Commission would be the grant administrator because we've received CDBG training to do that. Tonight, what we're hoping to gain is the approval of the Housing and Community Development Plan, the approval of the Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan, the designation of an authorized official that represents the Town of Plymouth. This person would help with signing any documents for the grant application and any approvals needed to move forward with that grant application, and then the official approval to move forward with the grant application itself. At this time, I'll ask Elm Grove to step up and talk about what the actual project is.
Good evening. For the record, I'm Brian Webster from Elm Grove Companies. We're talking about 2 parcels on Morgan Drive that Elm Grove is looking to purchase, 27 and 49 Morgan Drive. There's 2 components to the renovations that we're looking to do, both exterior and interior. For the exterior, we're looking to do some playground improvements. We're going to add a patio for more community setting with some grills, and then also pavement repairs throughout the site. For the interior, it's a wide renovation of each and every unit, and that ranges from new flooring, paint throughout, cabinets, counters, new doors, door hardware. Those are the biggest components to that. And also, once Elm Grove purchases the property, there's a total of 66 units between the 2 parcels, and there's going to be an average land use restriction of 60% throughout. That's going to range anywhere between 20 and 80% to make sure that we get 60. And in doing that, we'll be able to retain everybody that's currently on site. So there will be no displacement at all. I guess with that, I know that was brief, but we at this time just like to open it up to questions and comments.
So I have one question. There's a compliance component to the grant funds being accepted and the ongoing usage of the facilities. Is that correct?
Yep. So during the construction phase, we need to comply with Davis-Bacon wages. That responsibility is on Elm Grove and with our subcontractors to complete. Again, technically, Lakes Region will monitor that and ensure we're doing our part, but the main responsibility is with Elm Grove. And that compliance, I believe we mentioned it at the first meeting, but we're applying for the max amount of $750,000. $30,000 of that is retained by the Town of Plymouth, and that pays for Lakes Region. And again, Lakes Region will make sure that we're complying. So that's during the construction phase. And then during the post-construction, there's still compliance that we have to meet Elm Grove, and that's with New Hampshire Housing, to make sure that, again, we're meeting all the guidelines.
And what happens if you're not? Like, how does that compliance get managed? What's the effect of non-compliance? Which we hope that there's nothing like that, of course, but just curious.
Honestly,
what
I don't
that
have the
looks
answer
like.
unless my colleague does, but at the same time, Elm Grove hasn't faced that yet. So I guess I don't have that answer.
Yeah, I can answer this. So just to clarify, as a subrecipient with that federal grant application, they're also mandated to comply with anything with that grant application, just like the grantee would be. The absolute worst case scenario is that the government asks for funding back. That is the worst case scenario. But working with CDFA, they will work with us through that management process to correct anything that needs to be corrected, and there's time to work on things to become compliant if that were to ever happen, which we would help manage to not.
And in that worst case scenario, is there any situation where that, with the town of Plymouth being the actual recipient and then them being the subrecipient, is there any possibility or any risk to that money, coming back on the town or being a liability to the town?
I would say that, again, both subrecipient and applicant would be responsible for this. I've never been in a situation where there was a compliancy issue. As long as quarterly reporting is completed, as long as we show a spending of the money within the time frame that they allocate for, there shouldn't be any issues.
And this is not the first application that we have applied for, nor have, this is the first job that we've not, there's other jobs or contracted work that we have had to apply for the Davis and Bacon rules and regulations. This is nothing new.
Okay.
And I don't foresee that there will be any issue. We did this with the downtown drainage project. We took that risk on as well
I
there.
say downtown drainage is a little different because we were directly doing that work.
But if we, by chance, they didn't follow the regulations there, then we would have been responsible for paying that back, not necessarily the contractor, I'm sure, so.
Yeah, that situation feels a little different because we're in sort of direct
Yeah.
control of
Situation.
that project, and if we messed it up, it sort of is on us.
It
We
isn't-
have, this
It's
one's
not a
much
new
more
regulation, though.
at arm's length, right?
The post-construction compliance that's being discussed is maintaining the 60% of the AMI, making sure that all of the tenants at the property meet those requirements. Elm Grove currently either owns or operates about 1,400 units of 60% or income averaging, like what we're doing here, throughout the state of New Hampshire. That's something that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. We go back and forth with New Hampshire Housing Finance to make sure that those criteria are met. We are the largest single property manager in the state for workforce housing. It's what we do, and we meet these requirements and compliance with them.
But is there any, to Zach's point, do we have any oversight during this process?
Do you have any oversight?
During the construction phase?
During the construction phase, compliance is maintained by Lakes Region. Post-construction phase, the oversight of the compliance is through New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority, which is also our lender.
Can you give us a rough estimate of how long the construction phase is anticipated to take, and then is the post-compliance time, is that indefinite, or is there a time frame for post-compliance?
The construction phase is supposed to be completed within 18 months. We're going to be working to try and complete that, in as close to 12 months as possible. Matt, I don't know what the CDFA requirement is, but I do know that New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority requires that we maintain compliance for a minimum of 10 years. A lot of our loans are out to
On the
15.
affordability aspect.
On the affordability aspect, yeah. This is something that, again, we own multiple properties throughout the state. We're building a number of properties ground up throughout the state that comply with the 60% status.
Okay, thank you.
My only other question I had was around the current market rate units that are there, and I think you mentioned that none of the current residents will be displaced through this process, but do we know how many market rate units are there, and how that might play out for existing folks who are maybe don't qualify for the...
So it should be 30 units that are market rate, and it's currently financed through USDA and through HUD and New Hampshire Housing. The limits are higher, which is going to allow everyone currently to apply. It seems to be actually stricter with the USDA or lower limits. So that's how we're able to retain everybody.
All the
Okay.
current applicants can apply, they may not meet though, right? Like, I mean, so the income limits are higher, is what you're saying?
The limits allowed by New Hampshire Housing and HUD are higher than,
But it's possible that there are current residents who are there who, if they're in market rate apartments, they might not meet even the new higher standards?
no, it's my understanding that it's all been verified that everyone's going to meet the new thresholds.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
What's the plan if the full amount of the grant isn't awarded? Because I know the amount is partially for you guys to purchase the property, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it's going towards the land acquisition.
What's the considerations if the full amount isn't granted?
We will still be able to move forward, but we'll have to re-engage with other sources. But this is generally our best path forward.
All right, any other questions from the board before I open it up to any audience, or we don't have any online participants? All right, anyone from the public who has either questions or wants to speak in support or opposition to this? All right, well, I am seeing none, and
Don't close your public hearing yet.
because we need to vote first,
We've got a couple other items to discuss before we can close the public
so we should
hearing.
discuss the two
Yes.
policies
Yep,
first.
please.
And is
So we-
Joseph the best to introduce those?
In your packages, you do have both the Housing and Community Development Plan and the Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan. The Housing and Community Development Plan, the purpose of this is to identify community development and housing needs, specifically both short and long-term community development objectives, and provide a policy for maintaining involuntary displacement of residents. And the plan was presented, and it was, this is the plan that was recommended to us from Community Development Block Grant. This is we had one of these on file years ago when we did one of these applications, but this is an update for 3 years. So, and I believe the board has a copy of the actual plan? Yes.
Yes.
And hopefully have had time to review it a little bit.
And this is an updated plan from the 2012 version.
Correct.
Joseph, do you have any comments on this plan?
No, not really. I think Anne summarized it well. It's a little distinct from a master plan. This is a housing and community development. It's a compliance requirement for the community development block grant. So is the RARA plan, but the housing and community development plan in particular is supposed to identify short, medium, long-term goals of the town. We really, and Avery also was very instrumental in this update. It's heavily based on the town's previous plan from 2012. It incorporates some items from the town's more recent master plan, and we essentially slotted that update into the template, the format provided to us by Lakes Region Planning Commission. So there's pretty minimal. Well, there are a few components in here that are local, but the state goals and objectives, national goals and objectives, and kind of the structure of the plan are all things that have been pre-provided to us to make sure that they meet the requirements. The locally specific portion is under local goals and objectives, as well as some of the background information. And those, again, are updates that reflect the most recently adopted planning documents of the town. So the introduction is just an updated introduction from the old plan, and then the local goals are pulled from the town's most recently adopted master plan and this was also looked at by the planning board at their most recent meeting in case they had any feedback. The planning board did have a couple of questions, which I think have been addressed well, but the board didn't have any comments or concerns about the plan itself. Did you have any
questions
questions
from the board
for me?
for Joseph?
Thank you.
Thanks, Joseph.
So the next item is the adoption of the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan, which Joseph indicated RARA, so that's where those come from. The purpose of this plan is to outline concrete steps to minimize residential displacement resulting from CDFA assisted activities. And again, the board was provided a copy of that in their packages tonight.
And this is a new policy or plan, I guess.
We did have a plan years ago, but I could not put my hands on it. So I don't know when that plan was. I believe the last time this plan may have been updated is when there was a sewer system grant application for Whippoorwill Mobile Home Park. I think that was the last, which is quite a while ago.
That's a while ago.
Yeah. So that was the last time. But it is a requirement for us to have these plans on file again. The grant is requiring the board, and they did give us, again, the wording for these items. The next item is when the motion is made to accept each one of these separately, these two items, and the board decides to move forward with the funding, we would ask again that the board decide who will be signing the applications and the forms and things like that when needed, so that we don't need to bring it to the full board and wait 2 weeks for that to be accepted.
Questions, comments?
Is there anyone in particular we should be making the signatory? Would it be Ann or
It's either going to be either Ann or Kevin.
Evan?
Or Zach.
Yeah, any one of us. Although Ann and Kevin are quicker. Is it better for it to be you or better for it to be Kevin because you're doing the financial piece? Like, is there a?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Um,
Okay.
You can say or if you need to, and then only one of us can do it. So,
Honestly, given the nature of the material, I would feel comfortable with Joseph signing it as well, but it sounds like there are any number of candidates that are capable.
whatever you'd like. Yep.
Any other comments or questions from the community about either of these policies and plans? All right, seeing none on that either. Ann, should I close the public hearing before we vote?
Please.
I figured that might be the case. Okay, 5:27, closing the public hearing.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the first option, which was the Housing and Community Development Plan.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the plan? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Then I'll make a motion to accept and approve the Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we need a,
Have Zach sign this,
Signing
'cause there's only
authority?
one spot, or-
And I'll make
Sign one. Everyone can sign one, yep.
Okay.
Make a motion to give the signing authority to Ann for this grant.
I just want to just confirm that you're not planning any vacation around the time that it needs to be signed.
Vacation, what's that?
Okay. Second.
Oh, we'll make it work.
any discussion on that? And that was enough, that gave you all the authority you needed?
That's, yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
She said just sign it. Everyone sign it.
Everyone sign it.
Yes, so have everyone sign it, and then, by all the motions that have been made, I take it that the board is, good at moving forward with this.
Yes. Yes.
And let's see. I don't see. Is there a motion?
Yes, they do.
You do, okay, sorry. So
Right,
just a
well,
motion from the board to accept the grant and move forward.
I'll make a motion to accept the grant and move forward.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I think I missed one of the signatures. Did I? Was there only one?
There's only one.
Oh, okay. I feel like there. Oh,
Please
because
sign
I
it.
have the other one in front of me. That's why. That's why I missed it.
Thank you.
Like, I
Thank
thought there
you.
was two.
Another public hearing to go right into.
Oh, yeah, the timing's good. Okay. So with that, let's move to our second public hearing of the evening. In accordance with NHRSA 41:14A, the Select Board is holding two public hearings for the purpose of taking public comment regarding the proposed acceptance of an easement from BICO LLC, map 208, lot 097-032. This easement follows conditions set by a 2025 Planning Board conditional use permit application approval for this property, further and reviewed and approved at the April 2026 Conservation Commission meeting. The purpose of this easement is to give the town an appropriate turning area for the maintenance of Page Street.
So back a few months ago, I believe that we reviewed this with Steve. And this would be the first of two public hearings that we have to hold to accept this. Again, it has been approved by the Planning Board, has been approved by the Conservation Commission. I'll just let Steve speak about what the true purpose of this need is, I guess.
So pretty much the easement is just making it bigger for us to turn around in. So they added 7 feet to it, what they had proposed to before.
So it just gives you enough space to turn around
Yeah.
and,
The 6-wheel dump truck that does that route, so it's a pretty big vehicle.
yeah, any concerns about snow storage space or anything at the end there?
Not right now. I think we'll be all right. If worse comes to worse, we can always pick it up too.
Okay. Anything else we should know about this, Steve?
Nope.
All right. Well, I will take any public comments on this.
My name is Donna Patton, 25 Page Street, Plymouth. I believe we're a direct abutter to this. Basically, they were going to put a fence in. How does that work with this easement? Where is the pavement? Does that go up to the property line? You know, and things like that. Just want to know more information about it.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, for extra context, there's a development that's coming in, that's road will come off of Crescent Street, the private road off of Crescent Street. It'll come up perpendicular to Page Street, but where that new proposed paved driveway, for lack of a better term, where that meets the current Page Street, there will be a 14-foot wide access gate that will be installed at the end of Page Street. My understanding is that gate is primarily for emergency services purposes. You know, if there's some sort of major event, a big fire or something in that back area, that that gate would be able to be opened so that emergency vehicles could, you know, get in from multiple sides. But otherwise, that gate will be closed for all intents and purposes, and there won't be, you know, through plowing or anything. That's why the turnaround at the end.
Okay. There was going to be a fence that enveloped, from what I understand. Does that fence still go a foot over the property line?
So there's a 4-foot rail fence that goes up to the access gate, and that sort of runs along sort of that end section of Page Street, past the turnaround area, and continues up to that gate, and then kind of continues around behind some of those new development properties. There's also some privacy fences that are included for those properties, not related to this particular easement or not related to, you know, that road or that town, but there is a privacy fence that extends kind of entirely around that development.
Yeah, that's the fence I'm talking about.
It looks, I mean, if you, do you have the,
I just gave it to her.
you have
Probably
a copy of the
hasn't
plan?
Yeah, they just gave it to me.
Yeah. It does look like, because of the turnaround, it does look like that privacy fence is pulled back the distance of the turnaround of the hammerhead.
Yep.
But the detail is shown there.
And it looks
so
like it runs.
There's a detail down here, so where the hammerhead stops, you know, they have to pull the,
Do you want to come over for just a minute, Donna, and just review what he's talking about?
looks like it's 16 feet. Is that right?
I think it's,
So is it still going to be like a foot over the property line?
looks to me like it's kind of right on that property line.
So it's going to be on the property line, so it's going to be a common fence, and we're going to be responsible?
I don't think that's changing. I think all that they're doing is where the fence had been proposed to go out to here, the fence is now gonna stop here so that they can use this as a turnaround. I don't think they're changing any of those details. It's just that the truck can back in here now and go out that way.
Well, I think you're asking a question about the plan. So our conversation is about the easement, which is really about the road. But because you happen to have access to the plan and we can see it, we can sort of interpret it for you, but that particular decision was with the
There is a
planning board
note here
specified.
that says the privacy fence comes out to here and then it transitions to split rail. I think that's what I'm reading.
Okay, I just didn't know if it affected us at all.
I don't think I mean, this wouldn't change the location of the existing privacy fence.
Okay, that was my question.
I think that's still as proposed by the planning board. I think this is only basically to add that hammerhead. Am I right about that, Steve? And then, so there's a note here that says transition privacy fence to split rail fence, so it looks like this is split rail. And this is, the privacy fence ends there. So where previously the privacy fence was gonna go all the way out to here and be in transition out there, but now it's held back just so they can get back the truck in there and turn. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
So nothing changes? on
I don't
this?
believe so. I think it looks like it's all privacy fence along there still.
Oh, it still is planned, okay.
Yeah, I don't think that detail of the plan has changed. This is
Ma'am,
really
if you
just
were
this.
to look at the minutes of April 17th, 2025, those are the planning board minutes in which they, under their conditional use application for BICO, this was one of the requirements under that use permit. So I can write that date down for you so you can look at that as well.
That's a kind of it's not much bigger than this, but it's a little bit bigger to see some of those notes right there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to take
Yeah.
one of these plans if you would like
take
it.
mine.
Oh, you already got one. Okay, perfect. Yeah. And that's your property, your Greg and Donna Patton. So that's your property right there on the kind of that corner of Page Street that,
Quarter acre piece.
So last October, we emailed permitting it from Plymouth, New Hampshire. The construction company dug up our property marker, so we had taken pictures and sent it to code enforcement. And so we just have some black and whites here. It looks like the property marker has been put back.
okay, in the correct spot.
Well, we haven't got any documentation.
Okay, good, good.
But we don't have any documentation of that.
We just wanted to make sure that the construction company didn't just go, this looks good.
This looks good, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it was a licensed land surveyor that
Was supposed to.
supposedly reset them all.
Reset the pin, okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, those
Thank
are
you.
questions.
These are the minutes
No,
that
thank
you
you.
want to look at. If you go
Okay.
online, you can look at the planning board minutes of that date. Okay. You can
Thank
take
you.
that with you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. Those were great questions. Any concerns about that turnaround area? Anything about that, you know, as the abutters, there's any?
Not really, just, we
Okay.
wanted details.
Nope, that, totally understandable. All right, any other public comments? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing for this evening, and we'll have our second public hearing on the 27th on this.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Let's take Ann's town manager office update.
Sorry, I got some paperwork going here. Okay, I'll try to be quick. Under the administration, we have closing documents and related sale for paperwork for the purchase of the future public safety complex. Your board will be seeing those later tonight. Town departments have nearly completed the 25-26 financials. As previously reported, revenues are coming in very close to projection, and final adjustments for receivables are being made. The fiscal year 25-26 audit will be scheduled once all revenues and expenditures have been finalized, which is usually September, early October. We anticipate being on that schedule. Planning for the 27-28 budget process, it's already begun. All the departments have received their listing. They've received their Google Doc. They will be receiving their CIP document as well, which they can start working on. The proposed schedule is attached for the board. It's a pretty tight timeline. I think Lydia attached it, did she not? Nope, so I will get that, get that out to the board. There's a lot of meetings that are coming up. The board's really gonna have to, somehow we need to make sure that we stay on task, and have our quorums as needed. Regarding personnel, currently we have the following positions open within the town department. Of course, the town manager and the assistant to HR and finance, which we will discuss that position later in non-public. Police officers, we have 2.5, that means 2 full-time and a part-timer for 20 hours a week. Right, recycling, we have a part-time position for 29 hours. Highway will have 1 full-time position opening up on October 1st. The town clerk's office is preparing for upcoming elections to be held on Tuesday, September 8th and Tuesday, November 3rd. Anyone interested in volunteering, they would appreciate it if you would reach out to Amy or Melinda, and Melinda. During the period of, April through June, the town clerk's office processed 2,105 motor vehicle registrations, an increase of 59 over the same period last year. 201 vital records, 19 of them were marriage licenses. 325 dog registrations.
352.
Yes, you're right, 352, thank you. The town trustee account, just an update to the board. The staff's been working with Meredith Village Savings Bank regarding the town perpetual care, capital reserves, and Plymouth Village Water Department's capital reserve accounts. Recently, we had a meeting with Meredith Village Savings Bank, and as a result of those discussions, our interest rate went from 2.75 to 3.3. So we appreciate Meredith Village coming forward and having those conversations. During the month of June, the town welfare director assisted or met with 18 individuals seeking assistance with housing and utility needs. The recreation department, of course, the summer is in full swing at the rec department. They have 50 participants every day that are participating. They are in week 4 of a 5-week camp, so they're getting through it. Theater camp just finished up with another 50 participants. The Sunday night hoops program is underway. Thank you to the Flying Monkey for the use of their facility for the theater camp, and Plymouth Regional High School as well for using their facility. Nearly 20 talented middle school musicians recently completed rock band camp, finishing the week with an outstanding performance on the Common. And Family Archery has also gotten off to a good start. Upcoming programs, the Adult Essential Oils class starts on tomorrow. Anyone need something to do, you can go learn about essential oils. The summer concert series kicked off last Wednesday with an exciting turnout, and they're excited to introduce their new kids zone on the Common while the concert is going on. Let's see. So soccer season is just around the corner. 2-week-long soccer camp is coming up. As well, they do, let's see, the swim lessons, many other programs, children's archery, several adult trips that are coming up. Keep on their website and you will learn all the programs that they're offering. Don't forget that there's discounts to Whale's Tail Water Park tickets. They're available through Plymouth Recreation. $28 off each ticket using our recreational discount rate. So that's pretty good. And finally, save the date. National Night Out is August 4th. And Recreation hopes to see everyone there for another great community event. Under taxes, the tax collector has issued the required notices to property owners advising them that the town has tax deeded their property. And that's located along Route 3. And Town Hall Communications, just a reminder, if people want to reach out to Town Hall and reach Kevin or I, you can call us at the phone number 603-536-1731 or through email or through the website plymouthnh.gov. And the best way to stay informed about the meetings is through the town's website. Attending the meetings in person or via Zoom, or watching meetings live through PVTV's YouTube channel. I understand channel 1301 is back up and running, so you don't have to just watch it on 1302 anymore. A couple things that I forgot to mention in here is that the cemetery fence, we are waiting for a timeline for that to be completed. We also have some trees at the cemetery that are being taken down, so that will affect, that as late in the fall as we can get, but that will be done as well this year.
All right, any questions for Ann? One chairman comment I wanted to make was we had a really good turnout at the Declaration of Independence event last week, and I just wanted to thank the library as well as the Historical Society for putting on a really good event. It was far better attended than I expected. There was a good crowd of folks there, and it was really well executed. So big appreciation to those folks.
Thanks also to Penny Baker TV for covering that.
And the Rotary.
And doing all the setup and everything.
And
that
the
they
ice
do.
cream.
Yeah, for sure.
And to M&M Scoops for donating ice cream for Rotary to Scoop.
And that was actually initially put together from, who was the individual that put that together?
Marcia Smith Blaine.
I think the historical study, yeah, Marcia Schmidt Blaine ran a lot of that, and I think Kathy Kelsey was pretty involved in, especially the early work of coming in and, you know, getting the appropriate approvals and things through the board
All the speakers?
and the speakers and coordinating. Yeah,
I would like to commend the Historical Society. I thought the selection of speakers was a very good cross-section of our community, and it was really nice to see a mix of a lot of different people reading
Yeah,
sections of the Declaration.
yeah, a lot of like really active community participants and some
Great.
young people, and
Board members,
yeah, it was really well done.
yeah, it was good.
Okay. Let's move on to our first appointment of the evening, which is, we have an appointment request for Megan Heidenreich to be an alternate to the Plymouth Conservation Commission. We have a letter from her addressed to the Select Board. This letter is to request an appointment to serve on the Plymouth Conservation Commission as an alternate member. The Conservation Commission has discussed this and recommends my appointment. I'm suited for this position due to my background in natural resources. The Commission's work in stewarding, protecting, and conserving our natural resources benefits our community greatly, protects our drinking water supply, and provides many recreational opportunities. I have a great deal of respect for how our town has managed these resources and look forward to supporting the work of the Conservation Commission as an alternate. Thank you very much. Sincerely, Megan Heidenreich. And then we have a letter from Vice Chair Melissa Eulery. Dear Ann, please find Megan Heidenreich's letter attached for review. The Conservation Commission has voted unanimously to appoint Megan as an alternate member.
All right, I'll make a motion to appoint Megan as an alternate member to the Conservation Commission.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Great member.
It's good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, that's an easy one. Okay, Steve is next up with a purchase order for paving of Highland Street overlay from Broadway to Reservoir Road for Peckham Road Corp.
Yep, so I reached out to them just because I wanted to see what they were gonna come at, and we got a quote for $50,000 to $55,000 to pave that with a 1-inch overlay. So that's what I calculated, so let the professionals do it.
So I presume this is just the labor to do it, since we approved purchase of materials for the same section of road
No.
at the last meeting?
No, so so for us, that was for 50 to 60,000 for us to pave it, but they're doing it for 50 to 55.
Okay. So it's the material and the,
Everything, yep,
seems like a good deal.
that's what I thought.
Anything else? I'll make a motion to approve the purchase order of up to $60,000, really, for $55,650 for Peckham Road Corp. To pave Highland Street overlay from Broadway to Reservoir.
Second.
Discussion. I assume in terms of competitive bid, we're sort of competitive bidding ourselves in this case.
Well, we are, but the, this contractor, as the letter indicates, is actually already there because they're working on the Highland Street project.
Yep.
So,
Are they working for, already doing other paving in town already?
I believe that that's what Steve's letter
Yeah,
indicates.
so they're doing Russell
thank
Street
you.
for Lyman, they're gonna do Highland Street, and I said, at this point, give me a quote, just keep going.
You're already
Yeah,
there.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
so it makes a lot of sense that here
for-
we don't have that
to
additional
do it.
costs of bringing that, the
I was-
machinery in and all those sorts
I
of
was gonna
things.
say, they probably couldn't even mobilize to town from Albany for that much money.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like,
That would be tremendous more amount for that.
I
Absolutely.
mean, we would have to hire trucks, probably pave at night, I mean, who knows?
yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
no, this makes a lot of sense.
Yep, I like it a lot. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So that one is good, and thanks, Steve. we'll
Thanks, Steve.
take next up, we've got Jesse Jennings for quality insulation, spray foam, ceiling, walls, gables, cover with, I'm just not going to say that word, at the highway department.
Intumescent paint.
Intumescent?
So as, remind you guys, that the board originally last meeting turned this down, due to a lot of questions and comparative bids reevaluation. Gave dressed to that direction, he's gone out, just kind of cleaned everything up, got the bids back appropriately as we requested, and came back forward, and I just figured it was better to have him here so you could answer more questions in case the board had it.
In addition, there was questions on New Hampshire Electric Co-op, any funding there and how that all worked.
And they did come back and say, can they pre-authorize, I guess?
Yeah.
16,000 roughly.
That was my concern, is just
Yeah.
verifying that they still had rebate money available for the year. Sometimes they run out and might offer a lesser amount, but it's nice to know that they have a budget for this before we commit to it. This looks good to me. I appreciate, taking the time to, I think Ann had suggested that, we clarify the need to include intumescent paint in all the bids, which gave us, which I appreciate. So I'm comfortable with this.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Just one question. I have one request of the board. The monies that we received from the grant, I would like to use those monies for further environmental savings at the highway department, i.e. they need new AC units. They have built-ins, which are old, and to get new doors so that way the gases from the workshop doesn't filter into the offices.
And that's additional work that we can afford because the cost on this ends up lower due to the grant from what we budgeted?
Yes.
15,000 from that grant, we'd essentially take that back and instead of putting it into the general fund, it'd be reapplied towards continuing better the highway department and making a safer atmosphere for the employees.
What had we budgeted for highway on this?
I believe it was 40 grand.
So in addition, if we do get the grant, is when the board would make that decision, because you have to have a public hearing because it's over $10,000. So once that grant comes in, the board doesn't need to make that decision now. You would make that, but that is something that he wants you to consider.
That we're thinking about doing that additional work.
Yep.
And is there so there's one way to think about this of like, oh, we'll use that grant money to pay for that. There's another way to think about this of like, okay, this is the cost for this project. It's, effectively going to cost us $30,000. We budgeted 40. We have an additional 10-ish that we could spend on additional work at highway. Is that air conditioner work $10,000? Is it $20,000? Do you have a ballpark of roughly what that'll be?
No, it wouldn't be more than, I would say, $5,000.
Okay.
And those remaining grant funds would be returned back to the general fund.
Okay.
Once those works are complete.
So effectively, what we would be able to do is accomplish the two projects for less than the budgeted 40,000. Conceptually,
Yes.
I like that idea.
Am I correct in my understanding there's an oil burner that provides heat, a waste oil burner that provides heat there?
There is no waste oil burner.
Oh.
It's a diesel heater.
Okay, so there's a heating system in the building
And a wood stove.
and a wood stove. Okay. And what type of AC equipment are you considering or recommending for that project? Just out of curiosity?
Just newer, bigger, something that's more efficient than what they currently have right
And
now.
it's just for air conditioning?
It's just for air conditioning.
I-
They have baseboard heating
Yeah.
in the offices.
Okay.
But
Electric
it's definitely the
baseboard
cooling.
or
Say again?
what kind of baseboard heating? Is it
Electric.
Electric baseboard, yeah.
Probably worth looking at a mini split instead. At least get a price on it, because that'll, there would be significant electric savings from heating in addition
Potentially,
to
yeah.
having the air conditioning capacity. I'm sure you could get quotes from local contractors to cover that AC, you know, if you size
Got a
the unit
couple.
for AC load, and, you know, it'll cover a significant amount of the heating load, but if, you know, I would also encourage you, I mean, if it's electric resistance heat, I would consider putting in enough heat pump capacity to cover the heat load. Worth looking at.
It would be worth looking at.
Good idea, Phil.
Yes, agreed.
Anytime we're doing work, it doesn't make sense to put in anything that's AC only at this point. The incremental cost of putting in a heat pump that does heating over an AC unit is small.
Yep.
And then the operational savings will be substantial.
All right, any other we have a motion on.
I
no
started
motion yet?
it.
Oh, I stopped you on your motion, sorry. Or
No,
Jesse stopped you.
Jesse stopped
Somebody
me.
stopped you.
So I will make a motion to approve the installation of spray foam ceiling walls, gables, and cover with intumescent paint at the highway department. The quoted price was $46,500 and to quality installation.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
Oh, good night.
We love it when things come in under budget. Lets us do other things. Okay, we have to review the summary of findings on the Railroad Square issue submitted by Mr. Perez.
So, probably a month ago now, maybe, I was asked by the board to look into essentially what was mentioned during the charrette, that a lot of people had questions what the town's responsibility was for Railroad Square and that whole section of road down there. It's always been very convoluted. So I had our best researcher, Joseph, look into it, where he has by far the most experience in that area. And he dug into it pretty well. And I wish I had a better answer for you. It's still very convoluted. But it's been made, and Joseph, please come up. It's been made pretty clear that that is all privately owned. The town really has we don't even have, as far back as we have, and Joseph has researched, we don't even have an egress defined emergency route through there. It's just expected by the property owners, but we don't even have a 20-foot easement through there.
There is a 20-foot easement, though? Is that documented? Well,
I'll let Joseph speak.
Let's let
He
Joseph.
understands this a lot more than I do.
Okay.
Let the pros do the thing.
A poorly defined easement?
Yeah, so I just wanted to put kind of a summary letter to you guys together that outlines a bit of what I was able to determine from looking at the files as best I could tell. The very, very big picture is that that area that we often talk about, and I think the area we're most likely thinking about, so starting essentially at the signpost where it says private road, is indeed a private road all the way through to Route 3. There is a 20-foot easement through much of that area, and so if you go to the packet or the letter, the second attachment, or the first attachment, shows what appears to be that 20-foot right-of-way on the plan showing property conveyed by Boston and Maine Corporation to Plymouth Village Fire District. That was the predecessor of Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District. And you can see kind of that relatively general location of a 20-foot right-of-way.
Hold on just a minute, Joseph. Zach, can you put that up on the
Oh,
screen
sorry,
at the
yeah, let me
same
do that.
time?
Let me do that. Too busy looking at my paper, but that's a great point. I'll get us there. Should have been doing that for invoices too, but
Right there.
this guy.
Yep. And I was not able to locate much in terms of a specific breakdown of who has what rights to that right-of-way or easement. It does not appear that there is any clear, that right-of-way has been, that the town has been made a party to that right-of-way. There are several properties down there that have it referenced in their deed, but I have not seen anything to suggest that the town has been made a party to it. There are several parts of the road that the town has acquired over the years, and those are what's called Railroad Street. I have always called it Napa Alley. That's that little narrow stretch of road between Panther Pub and now Ladders, used to be Napa. That was actually verified to be a town road back in 1938. So that's pretty clearly defined as a town road by the select board back at that time. So the town did take that on as a town road. Then also, I'll call it kind of the Wishbone parcel. That's the parcel, or the road, I should say, that goes down the hill next to the Lucky Dog and to the point where you see that signpost roughly that says private road, and then the one-way or one-lane road behind the senior center. That's actually one sort of wishbone-shaped piece of property that the town appears to have acquired, so deeded title to that property some years ago, acquired from Boston and Maine Railroad Corporation. So that one is, it appears that both of those have been confirmed to be town roads.
So that down and then the piece that goes behind.
Essentially, you take
Correct.
that hard left behind the senior center.
Correct.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
runs out. That one.
That one, we have ownership of that piece.
The tax map shows that as Depot Street.
Yep, yep, exactly. And it's,
And it's been argued for many years that Alex Ray owns it, or everyone thought he did, but he doesn't own that.
That
section.
particular piece does not appear to be owned by him, though he does own some other things in this
Correct.
general area.
and there is a
Or
right-of-way.
Locomotive Inc., right?
Yeah.
That's-
Exactly, and there is so that 20-foot right-of-way that I referenced earlier, private right-of-way, does go over, interestingly enough, what's now this town-owned parcel with a town road on it. So that's just kind of a note, but that right-of-way did extend over that property. Certainly, I would say my contention would be that those property owners certainly are still using it as a right-of-way, but it's a town road now, so it's a little bit different. I do outline, there are a few ways. A road can only really become a road, a town road, public road, through four different methods, four mechanisms. It can be laid out by the town through a road layout. It can be through prescription, dedication, and acceptance, or deeded ownership. I have found no evidence in the record that the middle portion of the road that we usually talk about, so from the private road sign to Route 3 South, has met any of those criteria, and the town did look into, in 1985, doing a road layout through that area. However, this never went forward and was never formalized, so there was consideration of it at that time, and even at that time, there was recognition that at that time it was not a town road. That's why the town was looking at laying out a road over it, but the layout never moved forward. So that middle portion we often talk about, it does not appear at this time has met any of those four criteria for becoming a town road, based on the information I've had available at this point.
I know that there's a very broad disclaimer that our tax maps are not survey maps, but do you know if there's the relative accuracy of the road that comes down between Ladders and the Panther Pub, we call it Railroad Street or whatever, that the section of that tax map shows that the road is actually not aligned well with the property boundary there, which doesn't surprise me. I'm just curious if you can confirm that at all.
Yeah, the road is, the traveled surface is not perfectly aligned, it appears, with that sort of right-of-way line.
Yeah.
The edge of pavement does go kind of a little bit beyond the boundaries, so it is,
Okay.
the road right-of-way, if you, in packet, I should have numbered
Actually,
these.
the imagery overlay on the tax map shows it in better alignment than the road. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not too worried.
The
I was just
attachment, I should have numbered these attachments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Attachment 7 shows probably the best depiction of where those right-of-way lines are. This is from a proposed expansion of the Napa building, and they did a survey and a site plan at that time.
Is this the one you're talking about, Joseph?
Yep, that's exactly right. This is pretty much, this is an accurate depiction of, at least as of this 2003 survey, where the traveled way was in relation to the right-of-way. As you can see, the right-of-way is quite oddly shaped, but that oddly shaped right-of-way is indeed matches what the select board approved back in 1938. So we do have that original road survey approved by the select board in 38 in the town's records. And big thank you to Amy and for helping me to find that. But we do have that, so that's pretty well documented. It was surveyed at that time, though, like you said, the actual traveled way is appears to be a little askew based on this 2003 survey.
Well, the tax map, they kind of lay out kind of where roads are on the tax map, and the job they did with the railroad square is less good than the imagery. So I'll leave it at that. It doesn't actually look, once you do the imagery overlay, it actually looks better.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. I just kind of wanted to summarize all of the findings and put together some of the relevant plans and maps for everyone to look at. I have a lot more. I had to kind of cut them down a little bit to fit them into this packet. Certainly, if anybody wants to see the originals, if I have it, you're more than welcome to come take a look. Or if the town clerk has it, depending on how old of a record it is. Some of these are just pulled straight from the Registry of Deeds as well. So generally, that's what I have come up with at this time in response to that question, and hopefully that can provide at least some general context on the situation. Certainly happy to answer any questions or get additional information, but I think a lot of it is just, this is kind of where we are today.
So if we wanted to make all of that cleaned up, right? Because it's pretty patchwork. There's definitely areas that aren't road that are acting as road. Like if we wanted to resolve that all the way from the Wishbone all the way to the skate park, including the Napa Alley branch, what would we have to do in order to clean all of that up?
I would very highly recommend, if the board wants to start that conversation, trying to get together with the impacted property owners in that area as a kind of first starting point. I think that's very important. The property owners down there have expressed many times that they are very interested in making sure that their properties wouldn't be impacted if anything like this were ever considered by the town.
Right.
So I think that's key. Everybody.
Roughly how many property owners are involved in that overall ownership?
I would say probably 5.
Okay, so we're not
Not a
talking
huge number.
20 different owners. I mean, 5 still, it's a lot of people to get on the same page, but.
Yeah, that's just a ballpark. So you've got.
And is any of that the railroad company still, or are
They're fully out at this
they're fully
point.
out, okay.
Yep. So it was all them originally, of course, but today, there are. The reason I kind of give that estimate is because you've got really 2 or 3 properties where the right-of-way actually goes over it, and by that I mean this old 20-foot private situation. But you do have some other properties that appear to use the right-of-way, appear to have been given access to their properties via that right-of-way, even if it may not be on their property per se. So that's why I say that there are property owners who may not have the right-of-way actually on their property who are still important parties to the discussions about it, and may have opinions about how it should be developed or not developed. The town could work with a surveyor to determine the lines and boundaries of what we already have, what's already a town road. Certainly the railroad street has been surveyed, and that's pretty clear. The Wishbone, for lack of a better term. I'm not able to find a surveyed plan for that property. Certainly it was deeded to the town, so there's pretty clear chain of ownership, but I'm not able to find a survey showing the exact boundaries of it. That perhaps with more research we could come up with one, but I think a lot of these questions, and certainly in 1985, the route that the town chose to take was first meet with all the property owners, try to see if everybody is amenable and willing to sign over an easement if needed to the town. The town hired a surveyor to prepare a road layout, which was basically a survey of the whole area showing what the alignment of a road would be through that area. And then the town would have, at that point, would have been through town meeting, would have adopted that as a town road. At that time, I think it was not entirely, it was mostly on the property of Boston and Maine Railroad. Today, it's a much more mixed number of property owners. It's not really.
What happened with that conversation in 1985? Did that
It appears that
never
it
make
was
it
not,
to town meeting? Did it?
I didn't find any record of it going to town meeting. It appears that the town was not able to get approvals from all the property owners down there who used it, not necessarily the ones who had the road on their property, but the ones who used the road. It seems like there were a lot of, in the files on that matter, there were a lot of easement, sign over an easement documents that were sent to folks that were never signed and returned. It seems like only one was. So I just think that's my
Sort of
sense
died
of it.
in community politics before it ever made it to any official proposal.
I've spoken to a few of the property owners that are in that area, and there's the takeaway I've gotten from people is that there's a lot of anxiety because of the unresolved questions. And it's unfortunate.
What's the root of that? Is that just uncertainty, or is that resistance to that turning into a road? Is that concern about what it could mean if it did? Did you get any feel from that conversation?
I got the sense that some of the property owners are concerned about losing what property they have, but I think Joseph is right in suggesting that any changes should involve discussions with all interested parties, and I think that the number of parties has actually been reduced somewhat in the recent years with property transfers in the area. And there's one property owner that's purchased a few properties. I was noticing there's also a parcel on the tax map with no known. There's 39 Main Street LLC bought the two parcels where properties burned down next to the Monkey, but then there's a parcel kind of at the bottom of that wishbone that doesn't have an owner listed, which is also interesting.
I can speak to that a little bit if you want.
Yeah.
It's a weird story, and I would defer a little bit to our assessors on this. But
okay.
My understanding from having discussions with them about that piece that with no owner listed on the tax map is that there is a property used to be now where the Lucky Dog Pizza is, I believe, was a condominium previously, owned, a commercial condominium, top, bottom floor situation. And that square was somehow appears to have been made a part of the condominium common land. It's a little strange with it being non-contiguous with those units, but that was the best we understood when I did ask the assessor about this some years ago when it came up.
Designated park.
Right. But was the pizza place the one immediately next to the Monkey that burned?
It was the one where Lucky Dog is today. It's the one that
Which used to be a Chinese food restaurant.
yes, exactly.
Say that again.
Used to be a Chinese food restaurant. I think it was Manor and Taste.
Yeah.
Manner and taste, yeah.
Interesting.
That's my understanding now. That could have changed. This conversation was years ago, but I do believe there is an owner to that property. It's just because it's common condo land, it's not shown on the tax map for some reason.
All right. Somebody has a deed to it though. That's good.
So if we met with the property owners, the objective would be just information, and if we agree to go down through a survey, are we looking for something for them to agree to? I just want to understand.
It seems it seems to me that we have two options. Option one is do nothing. right?
Nothing. Leave it
Right.
chaotic.
And allow the property owners to
Fight it out.
fight it out, and, you know, there's a private road that people use, or do something, right? And the second option of do something could have some subcategories as well. Like, you know, if the town chose to, like, we could actually lay out a road through there. And whether it be deeded or a right of way over private property, like, you don't have to take land to put in a road. It can be an easement over private property. You know,
there
so
will be
none of the
costs
property lines would
associated.
change. What's that?
There would be costs associated with us putting in a road.
And I mean, the initial, I mean, there would be legal costs to lay it out,
Right.
but there would also be, you know, presumably there would be maintenance costs, but, you know, I'm sure that you know, it,
It's all how we classify that road too.
Yeah.
So classify it as a class 6, it basically would exist how it is.
Oh,
The dirt-
interesting.
The dirt would remain how it is, and then whatever, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it's the property owners down there are the ones that put that fresh pavement down there. So, I don't believe the town did that, so.
And we don't plow it?
My understanding is we don't.
We don't. Highway does plow that railroad street, which is a conversation for another day, because that road's in failure. We should probably shut it down, if anything. But, so if we were to classify it as a maintained road, though, as Joss,
Class 5.
a 4, you know,
4
we would
would
have
be-
to re-engineer the road and bring it up to some level of spec, which would cost money.
You don't have to.
No, I mean,
No, seriously, I mean, there are existing town roads that, I mean, you could, or you could adopt it as, you know, you could lay out a road and then over time plan to improve it. I mean, we have dirt roads in town, we have paved roads in town, like, we could, you know, the right of way itself would just establish, you know,
Less authority.
it would also make a bunch of non-conforming properties conforming. You know, there are a bunch of parcels down there that don't have frontage on any public right-of-way,
It would
and
also
in a way, you'd be making
encourage
those
some development in that area that would be
could.
potentially valuable.
It could. I mean, there've been a couple new apartment buildings built down there in the past couple of years, which, you know, I'm not sure how, you know, I'm not sure what was involved in them getting building permits on lots that don't have frontage. I mean, they're non-conforming lots, but I'm sure there was some
Agreement that was
deep
made.
thinking done there.
During the charrette that recently took place, Joseph, was there any outcome from that gathering indicating that they would like to participate in giving the town the road? I know that there was a little bit of concern at one point about, you're gonna come and take my property. And that's the anxiety that you were talking about, but
Probably.
it was just a practice, basically, to see what could be done in that area. Was there any interest at all during those charrettes for someone to say, we want the town to get involved in this?
I would say it was a mix. So the final report from the charrette still is pending. We're hoping to get that in the next several weeks. I mean, that will give us some more formal recommendations from Plan New Hampshire and more detailed summary of what they heard from residents. You can certainly, or if anybody's watching on TV, on YouTube, their initial presentation is available on Pemmy Baker TV's channel. I recommend looking at that. But I would say there was an interest in perhaps some of these issues being talked about, but I wouldn't say there was a clear takeaway that, yes, we want this, or no, we don't. There were drainage issues were mentioned a number of times, that there's often standing water down there during rainstorms. And there's currently, it's not clear where, if any, town drainage exists around that area. So that was discussed, certainly, that there is
Given that it's not our road, it probably isn't any town drainage
Right.
down through there.
Right.
And that came up certainly in the charrette. Some of the property owners had concerns about the drainage, the standing water that often occurs down there, and, you know, some of the maintenance concerns. But I wouldn't say there was a clear this way versus that way. That I heard from those conversations. It was kind of a mix. There was some nuance to it where people acknowledged that there were current issues down there, and didn't necessarily have a full sense that one route over another is the best way to go forward. Though I think the final report might summarize it better than I am right now.
I think the planning board has also put off decisions to discuss rezoning the village commercial. I think the planning board is aware that there's some potential improvements that could be made to the village commercial district, but they didn't really want to get into it until, like, we knew this, the planning board knew this charrette was coming and wanted some input from that. But, I do think that there are other changes to the village commercial district that could be incorporated, but they're kind of on the back burner until until there's a clearer picture of what's happening here and a path forward. So, it's just not that there's anything critical that's not being done, but I think there are some really good ideas on the planning board about ways to improve the village commercial district and the vitality that, it brings to town. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I would be very interested to have us engage in some way in those conversations, because I do feel like this is a little bit of a chaotic segment of the village commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most vital area of our town, really, and we've kind of ignored this space for a long time, and maybe it's another 1985 where we have a bunch of conversations and we decide to do nothing, but I think it would be in our best interest to reopen those conversations and see if there's a path to
Yeah. I don't want
create
anyone to
something
think
down
that, I don't think the town has an interest in taking property for the sake of taking property, but, if the town can lay out a road that provides frontage to all the non-conforming parcels there, I think the thing that the town can contribute is that, yeah, we would pick up maintenance of the road, which is now falling to private landowners, but, and I do see a benefit to the connectedness of having, technically you could go down, well, which way is Depot Street one way? Like, in theory, you could go down Chase Street, and in theory, you could go all the way down to the skate park and pop out on Route 3 South down
can't
there.
get there off of Chase Street. The one way goes the other way.
Is it the other way? Okay, so the Depot Street is one way north currently, okay. But that doesn't mean we couldn't redefine it if we wanted to. Like, it's up to us, right? We could say it's one way the other way if we wanted to.
Yeah, and if we really thought about that area and had a clear plan and then clear easements and paths and potentially a road laid out that went all the way back to Route 3 there, it would be.
I mean, it might not be a big road. I mean, we could probably, have a fairly simple 2-lane road that went through there.
Yeah.
But it would be, it would be a substantial right of way to get the minimum clearances to do that. But, even if we just lay out a public right of way for access, there would be a benefit.
Yeah,
But
because
again-
I've seen disputes where all of a sudden a landowner decides, you know what, I don't like this, and I'm going to put up a gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Then that other stuff is orphaned.
then everything else becomes very chaotic.
I mean,
And it would be in a potential landowner's right to do that.
Right.
And, that could create lots of additional chaos. It's
agree.
well managed, and there's landowners that are seems willing to allow what's happening in that area to happen. It would be nice to try to formalize that in a way that benefited everyone, the landowners themselves and the town.
I certainly don't want to do anything that's going to negatively impact the ability of businesses to operate in that area.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So do we want to wait for the final plan, charrette, that, once that comes back, which shouldn't be too much longer,
Hopefully not.
and see what kind of recommendations maybe are in there? and then meet with the landowners following that.
Get a meeting with the landowners, I think would be good. And I don't know if it makes sense to do that meeting in a full board setting, if it makes sense to send a subset of the board to meet with them in a less intimidating fashion. I'm willing to go either route, whatever, folks think.
I would say keep the first one, subset
Yeah.
and informal.
You'll wait for that plan to come forward and
I
then,
think so, yeah.
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 And ultimately, all we're looking for is, hey, what do you guys want to do? We're not trying to force an opinion. We can see value in more, something that's a little more formal. We want to help you.
Yep.
Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah,
Thanks, Joseph. That's a lot of research.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a mess to understand, and, I think we would all be better served by offering to clear it up, but as long as all parties are interested and willing. I just want to be sensitive around that.
All right. Let's close out that item and move on to the signing of closing documents for the purchase of land for the public safety complex.
Oh, that's exciting.
so, this has all been reviewed by legal. The deeds have been written. The board has already signed the purchase and sale. So what we are actually borrowing, we got approved at town meeting of $900,000. We are borrowing $850, which is the cost of the two properties combined. The other $50,000, if we need to expend that money, that'll come out of our budget. But we have an extra 50 in case we have some legal items. So what I have in front of me is several different items. The first one is the resolution of governing board. At least a majority of the board and the treasurer of the issuance hereby certify that a meeting of the governing was held with respect to the issuance of the note. That notice of said meeting was afforded to said officers and the public in accordance with the provisions of RSA 91A as amended. Applicable rules by the laws of the state of New Hampshire issuer, and that at least a majority of the governing body were present throughout said meeting. So you're all here, that's good. And what you're voting to authorize the issuance of $850,000 general obligation note of the issuer, which was herefore authorized by the issuer's voters on March 11th, 2026. Such note to be dated July 15th. To sell said note to the purchaser specific of Schedule A, the purchaser, meaning that we're going to buy the land and we're going to give the money to somebody else. To issue the note is substantially the form set forward, Schedule B. You're voting that the note shall be a general obligation of the issuer to authorize the execution of the note by at least a majority of the board, and the treasurer to authorize the treasurer to deliver the note to purchaser, to authorize at least a majority of the board and the treasurer to execute and deliver a signature and no litigation certificate with receipt and no arbitration and tax certificate and IRS form 8038-G and substantially the form presented at this meeting. That the issuer shall serve as its own paying agent with respect to the note on this 15th day of July 2026. So the first one is the resolution of the board. You can just have a vote for that, please.
Need a motion? Okay.
Yes, motion, sorry.
I'll make a motion for us to approve the resolution of the governing board.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sorry, who seconded that?
That was Phil.
Thank you. Second item I have is signature and no litigation certificate with receipt.
I'll make a motion to approve the signature and no litigation certificate with receipt.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Two items, sorry. Moving right along. Is the actual $850,000 general obligation note, no arbitration and tax certificate form.
I'll make a motion to approve the no arbitration and tax certificate form.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item is the general obligation note, and that is with Meredith Village Savings Bank. 4.35% interest, $850,000.
I'll make,
That's a 5-year term?
Wait, it's on one, I believe so.
Roughly, what does that mean to us annually?
Let me find the amortization schedule that I have.
It is a 5-year maturity date.
Yep.
I believe that we had budgeted around 200 to 250,000 within the budget.
Okay.
That's the,
Next item is the information return for tax exempt government bonds.
Did we do a?
no, we did
Oh,
not.
sorry.
So I was gonna make a motion to approve the general obligation note.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do we sign that?
You're not going to sign here. That's going to be a JP. I'll
Okay,
sign that
that's
after.
just making sure.
And the next item again is the tax exempt government bonds, Form 8038G.
I'll make a motion to approve the information return for tax exempt government bonds.
Second.
So we should be, sure, we should have ownership of
Where are we
that.
signing that?
Wherever it says,
Sign.
everybody can sign. The IRS likes your signature.
We need an actual vote for the taxes on government bonds. We had a motion and a second, but not a.
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed?
So we should own that property by the end of the week, with the deeds being recorded early next week at the latest. And then the fire department can start putting their vehicles on it, and it'll be good, right?
Yeah, you don't need a building at all, right? You just park the vehicles there.
Well, there's a story behind that.
There's a story
I'll say.
behind that. Pretty fun.
Is there?
It is very funny. It's all right to go into signature, Zach, or are you
Yeah, we're all good on the purchase at this point?
all set?
All right,
Way to buy some land, guys.
we'll take, you said we'll take ownership of that
Early next week.
early next week.
Should we bring a bottle of champagne and
Smash it in the
Smash it, yeah.
smash over?
Use that tourist sign.
So the first item I have under the signature file is Pine Gate Cooperative Inc. is applying for a solar exemption in the amount of $57,500. And the assessors have approved that.
That's the
The new one?
right next to the transfer station, right?
Yes.
Good.
The next item I have is an abatement in-house, like due to clerical error. They received a property tax bill, this is on Texas Hill Road, for their property in the amount of $2,599. However, we found that the current use assessment was not applied appropriately, so they should not be paying is they should be paying taxes on $1,813 instead of $2,599. The next item is an abatement recommendation for the Groton Wind LLC. They appealed their assessment of $3,516,700. After a review by the assessor, the property owner failed to respond to the utility appraiser Brian Fogg's request for additional information by July 1st. Therefore, it's recommended that the abatement request be denied. That's all I had.
Do we need to sign the front of this?
Yeah, I don't know if there was another, sticker fell on the floor.
Oh, got it.
Oh, darn it.
I know it's that sticker, it's not.
It's on the front. You don't need sticky.
Manana.
Oh, man.
Tomorrow.
What?
We're gonna attend, but
Is it possible that this Groton Wind,
I thought these guys were going to. Maybe not.
is it anyway this Groton Wind abatement denial is gonna turn into a lawsuit that's going to be more expensive than the abatement?
No. No, well, I mean, they can always apply to the BTLA, but it appears lately, many years, all utilities apply to the BTLA, no matter what. So they have to respond to the assessors, and they chose not to. And, their application for an abatement came in by March 1st, which is the requirement, and now we're into July, and they still hadn't responded by the beginning of July. That's not,
And this is just for the transmission line that runs through town,
I
it appears.
don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Because the wind towers aren't in Plymouth at all, are they? No, so it's just,
It would be the transmission line on the poles.
yeah, that's, yeah.
Every utility is given a value
Yeah.
by the state.
Right.
However, the town of Plymouth actually goes out, and we have a specific utility appraiser that does our appraisals.
And I know there was, a few years ago, there was a case with a co-op, right, and the resolution was that kind of, well, I think there was legislation, right, that.
Legislation had to
that-
come through to
that
change some things.
Basically, all towns have to use the state's standard
Or it's 75% of something, I don't know the whole story, but
it's, yeah, I mean, I presume the assessor's doing what's required by the RSA at this point.
That's it?
that's it.
That was
That's
not
not
as
so
bad
bad.
as it could have
Not
been.
bad.
Yeah, all right. Good work. On to committee reports.
Sewer and Water, I have no updates as they haven't met since we last met, but they meet tomorrow, and I can attend now since we don't have our town manager meeting.
All right, planning board, I'll give a update.
I did not attend on the second. Thank you, Zach, for attending in my stead.
Happy to do it. So we met with the Barrett Planning Group. They came in to discuss the Housing Master Plan chapter draft and their recommendations. It's looking good. We had some questions in particular around, if you've spent any time looking at the master plan, there's a column for kind of who is the board or who's responsible for trying to get this particular recommendation implemented. So we spent a lot of time just going through a lot of those and discussing who is responsible. We did not discuss every line item because there's a lot of them, and that meeting is long. But we had Barrett there, and so they answered a lot of questions, and there were some revisions they were going to go back and request on our behalf. But if anybody's interested, I have the draft. We also got the update on the HUD housing and CDBG project that we ended up discussing this evening, and they had actually handed Joseph some questions to get pre-answers from them, and I just sort of verbally asked them as well to make sure they got on the record. We did not do the subdivision regulation review because that meeting went really long.
It takes a lot of time.
So that's coming next. We did have a gentleman join the end of the call to discuss from a New Hampshire Electric Co-op to talk about they have a slab that they're going to put in to put some racking for some wire spools, and they're going to put some roofing over that. So they're going to be coming in for an approval on that plan.
Is that Gary LeMay?
Gary LeMay, yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
Seemed like a really straightforward project. It's a big enough building that it requires planning board review because it's a 30 by 77 building, but what they're doing there seems very straightforward. We also talked about a short-term rental survey that's either has gone out or is.
It's gone out. I actually filled it out.
Oh, there you go. Pretty straightforward. It's like a 5-question survey, I think.
Yeah, very well done.
Just trying to learn a little bit more as they plan to spend some time talking about short-term rental regulations, which we would expect some sort of amendment of some sort to come through the process this year around short-term rentals. We assume, but that's part of what the survey is about. And I think that's it. Any questions for me on any of that? Plymouth School District.
Elementary school not till August, and the regional high school has their board retreat on July 30th at 2 p.m. at the Bobcat Cafe.
Is that open to the public?
Yeah.
Is it? Just kind of curious on that. Interesting.
I don't think it was in the past, but it is now, right?
I guess officially it was in the past, but they didn't hold it in a place that.
Where the public could attend.
Public could easily attend.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say,
now
Now
they-
they do it there.
I would think it would be subject to 91A, would it not?
I actually was the one who raised that concern with
Oh,
them
interesting.
a few years ago.
Okay. Well, I didn't bring that up to rub salt on any wounds.
Yeah, that was, I don't think that there was anything malicious, but they were handling it in a way that was a little fast and loose, and the chair at the time was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And so
Technically.
they changed it. And at least one of them, we had PBTV there to also capture some of it too. I don't know if they're there this time, but it, like Ted said, it's in a place that's publicly accessible. Anything else for school?
Nothing else.
Conservation.
Next meeting is July 24th at 7 p.m. right here.
Capital improvement, someone mentioned, Ann, that we've now got a schedule for some of that, and Tom is going to be looking for members for that committee over the coming.
I think it's important that town departments understand the importance of participating in that. I know Scott was always good about communicating that. If there's any need for the select board to send a letter of reminder about the importance of capital improvement planning to our budgeting process, I think we should be willing to do that. But I don't know if
So
there's
far,
been response.
sorry, we just recently sent that out. I think it was last week. I just sent out everything.
Like
and then,
Thursday?
Yeah, and advised that the CIP committee will be getting together, and they'll all be notified of when their meeting is.
Great. And also advise them to think about that, 6 years out,
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
or whatever it
Right.
is. Good.
So,
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that everybody, it's old hat enough for people to.
just like the budgets.
Right.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like people are starting to think more in that way.
Yep.
Well, they know if they don't, then it
Yeah.
won't be a recommendation of the CIP.
Well, I think with Tom taking over, he's kind of the third iteration of the head of the CIP committee for the planning board, and with, Sue did a great job. And it does take a little bit of organization. It's important for that to
You
happen.
know well, having chaired the inaugural.
I did, yeah, 1 year. But
I'm just so glad we have a CIP.
I agree.
Agreed.
It's tremendous for a small community.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work. I think, honestly, a lot of the legwork, the technological solution of doing it in Google Sheets and granting access to portions of it to department heads, I think it was a technological solution that made it work
That was
a lot
Joseph.
easier. Yeah, and Joseph should get a lot of credit for that. Like, a lot of the legwork that towns can put in around CIPs or around, shuffling paper. And, having it all go directly into a spreadsheet makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also makes it so accessible, because then we just,
Share it.
we say, here's what it is, we put it on the website, there's the link, anybody wants to look at it, it's very easy to read.
I agree.
Okay, LRPC, have we heard anything?
I have not.
Parks and Rec?
Well, and gave some good information, and I think the official meeting is next month. That's typically
August,
the big
usually.
barbecue,
17th or something like that.
something like
Still
that.
on that
Yeah.
shade.
Energy Commission.
The Energy Commission didn't meet this week, but there's an impromptu, a non-quorum meeting happening tomorrow, just to kind of talk about, just to kind of brainstorm about some of the ideas that the Energy Commission wants to help Maggie focus on in her role with the building committee. So that's really just going to be me, Maggie, and Brian. But I'm not sure if I updated this board, but our last meeting of the Energy Commission, Ashley Saba stepped down as chair of the Energy Commission, and members of the Energy Committee elected Brian Hatche to be the new chair.
Did Ashley step down as chair or step down from the?
Step down as chair. I think she was still willing to be a member. But I will reiterate that there is opportunity for additional members if anyone in the public wishes to be involved in the Energy Committee. It's a good group of people. It's a once a month meeting, and pretty small lift for anybody who is interested in public service.
Okay. Advisory Budget Committee, we will begin meeting very soon. Chamber of Commerce.
We met was it last Thursday. Talked a bit about their going through the process now of closing out 26 and starting 27 and going through the usual steps. Talked a bit about the annual meeting and award ceremony. That went well. Some lessons learned, but nothing major. Sorry, just going through. They're starting the process now for the 27 travel and tourism seminar. I think that's February. Yep, February 27. Talked a bit about members, and their current 26 members out of 188, 112 have renewed. And they're just kind of going through and figuring out, I think most of it, some of the renewals, something like financial decisions on the business's part, nothing reflective of the chamber. They do have a business after hours tomorrow at the Loon Preservation Committee. Dark Nebula ribbon cutting, 22nd. Is that next week? Next week.
Yep.
I think that is it. That's it.
Any questions for Mary Ann? Perlac, you heard anything?
Have not.
Police and Fire Building Committee, we have not met, but hey, we just bought a piece of land.
That's awesome.
Sounds like progress.
News.
Nice.
Back to you, Mary Ann, Economic Development.
Sure, we met last week, maybe Monday. Certainly a lot of conversation around the charrette. We were hoping Sue Cagle was going to be there. Unfortunately, something came up. So the plan is to have her in August. Even though we don't have the full final charrette, we certainly have a good overview, and she was going to help kind of walk through, next steps for the economic team. Because I think most of you saw it. It's all these different pieces, including what Joseph spoke of, which you can appreciate is very complicated, and we kind of revert back to the board, select board here on what to do with that whole railroad square piece is kind of out of our purview, but hopefully we can help with that process. Yeah, there was a lot of going back and forth about the charrette and feedback and ideas. Once again, the charrette, how can we better use amphitheater? How can we better use senior center? Areas that we have, we have these spaces, so how do we get folks to honestly use it? Yeah. And is there, I think we talked about an events committee or cultural arts committee, or, very, very high level. But certainly there are things there that we as a town could do. We are going to take a field trip on Wednesday afternoon. A lot of talk, once again, about the whole walkway along the river, starting from the boat ramp all the way through. And are there some low-hanging fruit? Not that there's much of that, but there is some sort of path down there. Not quite sure what that looks like, so we're all gonna walk it.
That's Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday morning, 9 a.m.
Okay.
Right in front of amphitheater.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet and walk through it. And
I think I'm gonna notify. Is it okay if I share that with some folks from Rotary?
yeah, no, it's open to the public for sure.
'Cause
It's
I
an
know
official
Rotary is
meeting that's been
interested in,
posted. That would
I
be
can't
great.
join, but
So, that was enough of us.
All right. Any questions for Mary Ann? Public comments.
Seeing no one online, and no one here. I'll make a motion to go into non-public in accordance with RSA 91-A:3, number 2, A, personnel, B, hiring.
second.
Jason.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Zach. Aye. Ted.
Aye.
Mary Ann.
I